Taiwan's revolutionary age. That's so wrong. Please cut that.
Okay.
It's not Taiwan's revolutionary age.
It sounds
I'm so sorry.
How are you guys today? How was your guys' day so far? How's it been?
Tremendous.
Really? Can you say that with a little bit more passion?
How tremendous, George.
That's a little bit too much passion.
How are you guys today? Everything's good today?
I feel we're gonna have to turn off the little camera. Hey, welcome to the Weekend Insight. I'm your host, Julian. This is
Nathan.
I'm George.
Elisa.
And I am Julian. I think I already said that, but I'm gonna say it again. Last week we talked about how to survive ostrich attacks, but this week we're gonna take a little bit of a turn. Now we're gonna talk about Asian cinema, specifically looking at two films, Vive l'Amour and In the Mood for Love. And we are going to be looking at how the cinematography of Tsai Ming-Liang and Wong explore deep themes of loneliness, emotional isolation, and restrained desire, challenging like traditional Western film conventions and like offering a profound exploration of human connection through subtle, immersive storytelling. So yeah, just gonna get right into it. First of all, how do you guys feel that the color and the lighting and like the narrow doorways and architecture adds to like the feeling of loneliness and self-restraint? So I'm gonna give a brief little overview of both of the movies. So in Vive l'Amour, we have three main characters, and every single one of them explores pretty much like an extreme feeling of loss emotionally, because they don't have any lovers and they feel very lonely about that. So what pretty much the whole premise of the movie is that they're all just trying to find a sense of place in the world, and they can't. Especially Xiu Xiang, who is pretty much seemingly homeless, and he's like living like day to day, living in this other main character, Mei Mei's apartments, and he's bouncing back and forth, just trying to like figure out his ways, and he's really weird. And yeah, so in the Mood for Love, we have two lovers who are secret lovers, and they have two spouses who are having an affair on them
With each other.
With each other, yeah. So it sucks because they both feel super lonely, and basically they feel like they have a restrained love against each other because they can't be together because they're married, but they want to be together, but they're married, so they can't, you know? So that's the overview. So I have a question for you guys. How do you guys feel that the use and the color and the lighting and the framing like portrays the emotions of each character in the films?
I feel like all those cinematic techniques are the blueprint of the whole film, like why it makes it good, because the plot is very like base level, but because of the short frame camera angles, the colors, and everything like that fits that criteria, it's what brings light to the movie.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, the feelings you get from watching the movie come from the fact that the cinematography shows the framing in the way that the director wants. I mean, the empty apartments completely give you the feeling of being lost, and like it kind of gives you like a spooky, like empty feeling. It doesn't let you sit comfortably like most movies would do nowadays. I think that was really important. Yeah.
Very different from Western cinema.
Super different.
Yeah. I also feel like the slow motion in the Mood for Love, whenever there's like a montage of both of them. Like,
when they play the song with the montage. Yeah.
And I thought that was like really conveyed like how like there's kind of like a separation, because the montage always starts with like two shots of both of them alone, and then it like comes in together at the end of the song, and the song actually like becomes like a happier, more like better time. At the end,
And it repeats constantly. And
When they're together.
It makes you think back to the other times when you've heard the song. And it's a reflective moment.
Their only happiness, or not necessarily, but the happiness was when they were together, but it's like they can't be together.
And then it's also in the Mood for Love, there's like a very specific thing that they do, like framing within framing, that I think is kind of like reflecting the isolation of the characters even more, kind of like saying that they're trapped like within themselves.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then for Vive l'Amour, I think like Tsai Ming-Liang, it's like usually known for like his minimal dialogue in his films and these like very long shots that he uses. And I think what's important like about this movie, it's like really like the camera placement, it's always one. Like there's always one angle to this, and it kind of just like follows all the like the expression and like the body language of each of the characters. So like it really focuses on the performance of the characters, which I think that it's like mainly what he wants to convey. And there's a lot of reviews, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but people say that like, for example, this review in IMDb says, I think the director pushed it one step too far with the slow pace. At first it works, but then after a while it's just like an old joke. So I don't know your opinion, guys, in like this specific topic in Vive l'Amour.
You know, I actually think that it is an acquired taste, the slow pacing, and some critics don't get it, and that's obviously voiced in that review.
But yeah, that's a huge difference between Western films and these type of films.
For sure, and we'll definitely get into it for sure.
Yeah.
But specifically, like these reviews.
From this review specifically, I think that there's a lot of people that can think that it's just like too much, like slow pace is good, but like in this specific like movie, he went like way too far with it. And I think that's valid because like the first scene, it's like a minute long, and then the last one, it's like full 6 minutes of like this girl just like crying, with no cuts in it. But in my opinion, I think that you need to watch this movie with like a broader perspective. Looking at it as like art, you will pay attention to it and not just like put it in the background as you would like another like conventional like Western American film, I think.
Talking about the slow motion, why do we think he added that like 6-minute scene of her crying? Like literally context before that, she just finished having sexual intercourse with another man, and then it shows a whole clip of her walking or going around the park or whatever, and then she's just crying for like continuously 6 minutes straight, which is really weird. Why do you guys think the author or writer edited that, put that in?
I think she put that in, I think Simon Liang put that in because it was like, I'm pretty sure he said that it was like a moment of like either like cathartic release or like it was the ending of a movie that was so depressing, and the fact that she's crying and it ends with her crying is like just proof that it's gonna continue to be depressing. It's never gonna get better.
I honestly never looked at it like that, but that's so good.
Yeah, I thought it was just purely depressing. So
and that's for Vive l'Amour.
Yeah, and I think like the way that you can like relate this to In the Mood for Love is that they both really focus like on the whole cinematography, and like they use very minimal dialogue and long shots and strong performances. So this is like the key things that like they both have in common with each other.
In the Mood for Love is all about like the cinematography, how they film everything. It's the framing, the close-ups, the colors, the lighting, the fragmented spaces and everything like that. Like with the colors, there was a lot of warm colors like red and etc.
Yeah.
It's like red symbolizes passion, but then also forbidden desire, like in a way. Which is a huge part of the film because like obviously we see these two couples or whatever, or these two individuals that are like each other, but they can't, and that's like what the whole color red does, which is a really good connection. Well, I thought it was quite interesting at least.
It's like burning passion, burning desire.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and I think another thing is that In the Mood for Love, it's very strong on like the music. Like it really like evokes like emotion and like it represents something that's going on in the film. And when it comes to Vive l'Amour, there's no soundtrack. Like it's just like all diegetic sound. But I think that's also like on purpose to like relate more to the realism of the movie. So
yeah, you mentioned earlier the framing and the close-ups. Both of these movies do a really good job at that. Like for In the Mood for Love, they had a bunch of close-up scenes, which is like conveying or portraying that like they were always together, but they were like never together, which is like an emotional barrier for them,
Yeah.
which was
They never physically good.
yeah. I think there was like that there was a clip where they did touch or something like that, but it was just the whole movie was portraying them having an emotional barrier.
Yeah, that leads into a question I want to ask. Like, how do you feel that the the use of space and empty spaces conveyed loneliness? Because I know that like with a lot of the cinematography, they both directors use like long shots and like showing like cramped, narrow spaces in architecture.
Long
Like,
hallways.
Yeah,
and
that was like
spaces.
really conveying their emotions, but I don't know,
Uh-huh.
it could just be me. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think that has like a lot of representation to it, like
Yeah.
implicit meaning.
Mm-hmm.
The architecture kind of just like portraying these characters in like this really crowded cities and like how that contributes.
I also want to say it was like to be more intimate, cause
Yeah.
yeah,
Because they're like forcing them.
yeah, they're forcing together this small structure that's super small. Obviously, it's like being next to a person is like closer.
Yeah.
It's more intimate, you know.
But I felt some of the shots like that were just damp, gray, really cramped scenes that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The feelings you get from it aren't a sense of longing for another person. It's a sense of being completely isolated.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's not comfortable. And I think that is the message behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like that is what the physical emotional feeling you're supposed to get from these shots that these directors are taking.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually found a quote from a website, vive.org, if you want to go out there. It said, while Wong, who was the director of In the Mood for Love, is nothing but affectionate in his portrayal of Hong Kong, the director recognizes the urban alienation that comes with bustling city life and its throngs of people jostling for space. Loneliness is something that he conveys movingly in his films, using innovative techniques to highlight the dreamness of our solitude. And I think that like really like resonates with like the fact that he uses the architecture as a means to like convey like how like honestly like messed up these people's lives are. Like they have nobody pretty much, and they're so lonely, and like the separation of like the pillars between the characters or like objects between them, it's literally like severing their like almost tangible relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this like takes us also to another topic, which is the themes of both of these movies. Like the actual like thing that I don't know, what do you guys think that were the exact like themes that these directors were trying to convey? Because at least for Vive l'Amour, I think it was very important, like obviously like we've said, like loneliness and this like emotional isolation. But I think burnout was also like something really important in this film. So
What do you guys mean by burnout, though?
because like in this whole movie, like you kind of see, I think like May being the main character, like she's always like she's
yeah,
always
yeah,
on the
yeah,
go.
okay.
She's always doing
Yeah.
something. She has no time for herself. Like she has like this apartment where sometimes she will like go to take a little bit of rest. But then it just kind of like builds up to the end where she's just like crying for 6 minutes. So it kind of like builds up until that moment.
No, for sure. I definitely think that relating to what the director's themes are, I know for like Tsai and Liang, the themes that are shown in Vive l'Amour is very similar to his other films, such as Rebels with Neon God,
Yeah.
which is a similar film about.
For In the Mood for Love, like you said, there was a lot of emotional isolation, loneliness. In this movie, for context, this movie was the one where the two couples found out that they had the partners cheating. Both of these directors kind of do share the same plot, not plot, but sense of theme oriented with emotional isolation, loneliness. Yeah. For In the Mood for Love, they were completely lonely. Like you don't see their spouse.
You
They
don't
even
see
come
them.
out. Yeah, they don't
not
come
come
out.
They like show them on the phone.
Uh-huh,
with them, but they're never.
But besides that, they really don't share anything else. Yeah. So the whole time they're isolated from their spouses, and that's where the connection between the two, which was Chow and Sue, originates.
Yeah, how they like formed a bond.
Yeah, that's what they did,
together.
Bond. they both have the same.
Situation, like the
Situation.
exact same
Yeah,
situation,
yeah.
because their spouses were
It was-
with each other.
Yeah, that was
Like,
the
it
crazy part.
And they were neighbors, so like it was almost like inevitable that
Uh-huh.
they would like form some type of bond.
Yeah.
So they bonded over the sense of loneliness.
Yeah.
And I also think that for this specific, like I don't know your thoughts on this, but
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like open to interpretation, like whether they formed a romantic relationship or not, because they never like physically interact with one another, like they never actually have an affair.
Yeah. That's what.
It's implied though.
It's not implied.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
No,
not
it's
implied.
not.
It doesn't happen.
You guys remember where we were saying, was this actual cheating or not?
No, that dude. I swear you said it was implied.
No. Emotional
No, it was-
cheating.
Yeah, it was more
Emotional
like
cheating.
your perspective if it was cheating.
Mhm.
I have like a good idea
Uh-huh.
about this, because in this film it's also kind of like revenge, like that's their motive to like cheat.
But they don't cheat?
They don't. That's the part. Like they have like the motive.
Uh-huh.
Motive.
Yeah.
Motive.
Either one.
Yeah, to like cheat, because
Uh-huh.
like they're obviously going to be mad that like their spouse is cheated.
With
and
each
they're
other.
like with each other, so they're like, oh, like we have this.
Yeah,
literally,
obviously.
we have this like opportunity. Like we're neighbors. We are in
Uh-huh.
the same situation, but they don't. So that's also kind of like integrity of each of the characters.
No, they didn't physically
They
cheat.
did.
They emotionally cheated.
But then,
That's why. They didn't physically cheat, but emotionally,
They held hands. They touched little fingers.
they touch like this.
Okay.
Right now? Okay.
Pretty simple.
That's
That's
like- I'll take that
four-
serious.
that's like
third grade. That's like almost all of that.
Okay, so in the film we see this motive, well they have a motive of cheating. Like I said before, the spouses cheat on each other with the other person's spouse. And like I said just right now, that gives them the motive to cheat, but they don't actually physically cheat. It kind of makes it seem like they cheat emotionally in the way, because they do kind of make that connection through their themes of loneliness. They bonded over the cheating.
I'll say that's just as bad. Emotionally cheating has to be just as bad. Don't you?
That's almost worse.
I think
Oh,
it's,
it is.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty bad.
yeah.
If that was my girlfriend, I would not be chill.
No.
Also, I wouldn't be cheating in the first place. But
Exactly.
But also like their spouses were already cheating, so like
Yeah.
that's a different situation.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they weren't the
yeah.
ones that initiated the cheating.
do you guys think they're guilty?
I don't
you
think
they're
they're
wrong.
guilty.
No,
They-
because two negatives makes a positive, and they were both negative. And the positive is that I don't know, they're able to do what they want.
No, I definitely would vouch for them to be able to be free to do whatever they want. Like,
Yeah.
your spouses are cheating on you with each other. Like, there has to be revenge. Like,
Sure.
no way this is going.
Like, I felt that the movies, it kind of made me think about my perspective on movies in a different way, because I was so just in a box about what I thought movies could be. The action, with the plot, with the overarching theme. However, after watching In the Mood for Love, for example, or Vive l'Amour, where at the end she's crying for 6 minutes. I mean, it completely changed the way I thought.
Alright, moving on. I think I want to talk about breaking from Western narrative norms. Specifically how the character is experiencing emotional longing and connection through like subtle actions and interactions that are never fully resolved. Like, how do you think that the never resolved actions are doing that?
What?
was not a question,
Just
bro.
said I felt like Vive l'Amour was so different because without a plot structure,
Yeah.
you're not really tied to the events that happen in the movie. And, a lot of the real life loneliness comes from not having a purpose and not not having a plot gives you that emotion.
Yeah.
And did you guys feel like this was holding back the film, or was it giving it more life?
I don't know, because when you look at reviews, there's a bunch that argue one thing, and then there's a ton that argue the other.
Of course.
The minimum dialogue, for me, it's like I like dialogue, so I'm more to like the people that don't like it too much.
I wanted to know how you guys felt about how how these films break away from Western film norms that you've seen before, like how it's sort of unconventional.
I was really looking into it, and I felt that like with Vive l'Amour, not having a plot really tied into the central theme of loneliness. And because a lot of what loneliness is just the pursuit of not having a purpose. It is just being aimless.
Yeah.
Not having a plot, the events that happen, you're not tied to them emotionally. They just seem to come and go. And
even when like, okay, this is getting a little graphic. Even when there's like the sex scenes, they feel so meaningless. Like they're not even talking. There's no like foreplay. Yeah, there's no riz. They're like not even talking to each other, and he's just like sort of taking her clothes off, and it feels so like mundane and just like depressingly like, okay, why would you even watch
extremely
it?
meaningless.
It's so uncomfortable.
It just feels like a 24/7 live stream.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Cause it's just people doing their things that are just like really sort of melancholic.
Yeah.
I felt that like a big way that these films diverted from Western norms is the way they force you to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of those movies were like that.
Exactly. And a big way was with the cinematographic choices. I know that with Vive l'Amour, there's so many cramped spaces, and we talked about this earlier. But they really make you feel a way that it's not inviting. It's not a movie you want to get cozy under it with a blanket.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So like you watch it in the day.
For sure, and you watch it with your eyes open.
I feel like with the just overall the Western conventional films, they want you to be entertained. They want you to feel a specific good feeling.
Exactly.
They romanticize the things, or they want you to feel a certain emotion, but I think this is completely different because their purpose is to make you, like you said, uncomfortable.
In a way.
And feel what am I watching? It's not
because I wasn't entertained at all.
But because of that, you were forced to look at the small details. You were forced to look at the colors.
That's true.
You were forced to see how they affect this subconscious about the way these scenes feel. With Marvel movies, I'm never looking at the color hues.
Never.
Where the Hulk is placed. But here I'm looking at the way that the camera's looking down on the citizens walking by, and the couples, the way they look at each other. The long glances. I see that now because of the fact that there isn't a lot going on.
For the Marvel movies, I'm just focused on the plot entirely. And then we're watching these movies okay, why did he do that?
Exactly.
Does that make sense? Why is he doing this and that? It's you gotta tie the whole puzzle together for these movies.
It forces you to have an attention span.
Don't. No, actually, that's such a good point. You need to have a strong attention span, bro.
Well, I feel like it's because these movies have a bigger message. It's harder. It's not simply a way to distract yourself from life. These are meant to be depictions of what life was like at the time. And the loneliness, the aimlessness is what life was like. So I think that really ties into.
Usually these movies have an overall point at the end, what they want the audience to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think also, for example, there's a video from Taiwan Plus Dogs that Tsai Ming-Liang said that he actually also makes his movies as a diary of his life. So this also makes more sense to why it's weird, why it's uncomfortable, why it's not intriguing.
Really?
Yeah, I think the cinematographic techniques, techniques. Yeah, I think they use sort of the mise en scène within scenes where there's no objects in apartments. It also conveys the emptiness felt in the actual scene and in the heart of each character that's there. So the sort of the lack of literally everything just proves that there's a void in every single character.
That's such a fair point.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just what I thought. Mainly, So finally, I just want to know your guys' thoughts about the movie. How do you guys actually feel? Did you, opinionated? Do you guys think you liked the movie, or did you not like the movie?
Okay, you can start. What's your opinion?
Well, my opinion is that I did not like the minimal dialogue because I am so used to movies that have a lot of action and a lot of stuff like that. So it's sort of an acquired taste, and I can understand that, but I don't have that taste, so I cannot acquire the joy to watch these movies, sadly.
Which
But-
is valid.
Which is valid.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone,
Absolutely.
100%, but it is artistic, and as a man who loves art, I can enjoy that. But
You
I
can
don't.
appreciate it,
Yeah,
respect it,
exactly.
but not enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Absolutely. I think I'm on the same boat. I think I really can appreciate these movies for what they hold, with the techniques they use, with the impact they have. However, you know, as a day-to-day watch, I'm definitely not picking it over Cars or any Disney movie.
Toy Story.
You know, I think that
100%.
I don't know if this is gonna be what I put on the TV.
Yeah.
I've just grown up like on Western movies, and then because of social media, TikTok, my attention span is so incredibly rotten. Like whenever I'm watching a movie, I'm on my phone watching. So like you guys say, I enjoy the artistic aspect with the cinematography and everything. Like I would have never thought about the frames. I would have never thought about the colors. But like it's something you grow to appreciate over time. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So basically, I don't know. It's not really for me, but for the audience that does like that type of stuff, it's a good movie overall.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna disagree with all of you.
Ooh.
I think that, I mean, I'm a person who really likes art, and like I really like appreciate it and respect it. So like you said, like you can appreciate it, respect it, and it's valid if you don't enjoy it. But I think for me, it's like I'm not being engaged while I'm watching these films. I think it's very difficult to do that. But like at the end, I will be looking back, and I like actually like really enjoy looking at the different aspects of film.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the cinematography.
No, for sure. Definitely.
And I really like the performance, which I think we can all agree that the performance in both movies was really good.
Of the characters? Yeah.
Okay, that.
Elisa has passed away, and we will now start the conclusion from here on.
Hey.
Alright.
Back into the video.
Lastly, I will give a brief comment on how these filmmakers have influenced modern directors.
Wait, we can talk about that. Or that thing.
So he just left that shit like,
Yeah.
oh shit, good job.
So, lastly, I'll just talk about how these filmmakers are just honestly like just beautifully like resemblant of like what you want to do if you want to stand out in the film world. Wong Kar-wai is known for his poetic visuals, slow motion, and his vibrant color palettes, which conveys like longing, emotion, and restraint. And it's really like between these two characters and the main characters of In the Mood for Love, it's like a unique experience that pretty much nobody has ever had. And he conveys that through poetic visuals like nobody else. So if you want to do that, be like him. Tsai Ming-Liang is celebrated for his like minimal dialogue and almost lackluster, like doesn't really look like he put any effort into the film.
Right.
At all.
Budget.
But yeah, no, he's just like he's very low, like honestly it just looks like it's low effort, and that's fine because there's like a lot of art behind that. And if you want to do a bunch of attention to detail and look into that movie, then go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. And he's amazing for that. So I think both directors have shaped modern cinema by emphasizing atmosphere, mood, and emotional weight in those periods rather than like a solid plot. So it's all about emotion, it's not about plot, and it's not for everyone.
Yeah, honestly, I like that take. It's not for everyone, definitely. Besides that, guys, thank you guys for watching The Weekend Insight.
Thank you so much.
This is, let's do it on sync though. Then. This is The Weekend Insight. Thank you guys for watching.
Got you.
And then it's black.
At the same time.
Yeah,
At the same time.
This is The Weekend Inside. See you next time.
See you next time. Alright, this is The Weekend Insight.
See you guys next
Alright guys, thank you so much. This has been The Weekend Insight. I was your host, Julian Hampton. Thank you so much for being here. Join us next time, next week, when we talk about what came first, the chicken or the egg. See you guys next time.